They serve the lowest rate of all counseling students. And as long as they stay within the circle, we want to kitchen windows. And I have to go over to development with the laundry.
They are delicious, so
They're so small. It's not standing, but one sits on the door.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the New Town Council meeting for Monday, June 6, 2022. I'll call the meeting to order at 7:01. Item number 1 on the agenda is a continued item to discuss an act on litigation, both in settlement agreement. These items may be discussed in closed session, pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 464246 5A2, sections pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation, or work sessions pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation. This item was supposed to properly on the clerk base. Wasn't within the 48-hour time period. We can move this down to the end of the agenda for discussion purposes only. So with that, if you guys still want to discuss it and we can talk about anything there, we can't act on anything. I'll make a motion to move number 1 to.
No, Andre, do you mind if I interrupt for, I just want to explain that you're not going to be addressing this item, but if you want to later in the meeting, you can make a motion to amend the agenda to add this item. Yeah, and I would wait until the end. But because the Attorney General's office gave me a ruling today that that even though it's a continued item, it still has to meet the 48 hours. So, yeah, but you can amend the agenda to address an item that's not on the agenda. But I just wanted to make sure I clarified that this item in particular is not going to be addressed, but you can amend it and add the same item at the end of the agenda.
We can wait.
I'd rather. Let's do it on the 6th, whatever.
The next meeting is the 15th. It's next Wednesday.
I put it on there.
Okay,
Me too.
very good. Thank you.
I mean, I say that because Martha
Okay, so we'll put that in next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2 is public comment. And just one short item of public comment that is June 6th. We have a birthday in the house. We have 1, we have 2. We have Billy Clark and Ron Ball, council member. Just want to wish you both happy birthday. And Alicia has brought us some cupcakes from the cracked mug. So if anybody would like a cupcake, anybody would like a cupcake, they're sitting over there.
Where?
Someone wants a cupcake.
I'll wait till YouTube goes off.
They're there.
Thank you, Alicia. Happy birthday, Billy.
Thank you.
29.
So happy birthday to you both. Wish you many more.
It was 42. Now I'm 54.
Kim Gacker, we have birthday cupcakes over there. If you'd like to have a cupcake. There's something to people.
Ms. Ball.
Does anybody else have any public comment?
Yeah, we share.
Does anybody else have any public comment? I was dealing with something that's
So the
not.
size of the landing.
All right, item number 2, item number 3 on the agenda will be a public hearing, proposed amendments to the New Shore General Ordinances, Chapter 19, Article 7, Water Conservation. I will make a motion to open the public hearing. Second by Sven, all those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
Sven?
Yep.
I'm in favor, Martha?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Mary, you want to start on that?
Sure, this is just as a reminder to the council, before we even advertise this, we had a brief discussion at a council meeting, and what we had realized that an ordinance was on the books as relates to water conservation that was prior to the water company being at the state that it is at this point. And therefore, because that ordinance was still on the books, we are now looking to delete that ordinance as it currently stands. And also, if you look at the first paragraph, it does talk about, giving, the town council may by resolution impose water conservation measures for private wells within New Sherman periods of severe extreme drought as designated by the state of Rhode Island and federal agencies. I can tell you the Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners, specifically the Water Commissioners, are working on rules and regulations regarding water conservation. They are taking it up on tomorrow's meeting, correct? Tomorrow's meeting, and I did suggest at the meeting that they do bring those conservation measures to the council, so they can have some discussion with the council as it relates to those conservation measures.
So we're looking at.
We're not deleting it, are we? Are we just keeping that first paragraph?
We're just, and, yeah, and the rest of the ordinance.
Goes away.
Go for it.
Do we want to do that now, or do we want to wait to hear from water specifically?
If we
Just to
do,
see if we're going to expand it later, or is it better to have it now?
I would adopt the, I would move forward with this for the simple fact that if you don't, the
You
ordinance.
can't do it.
The ordinance gets on the books and they can't adopt the water conservation. It's kind of a chicken and egg situation.
So, just, I'm sorry, can I just ask a procedural question? So what happened in public hearing?
Correct.
But we can't adopt this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, absolutely.
It's been
It's been
advertised.
advertised.
Right, I knew we had talked about it. I
And
just-
then you can close the public hearing and adopt it as presented. If that's the council's choice.
So we're making power to conservation measures outside of the ordinance.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a little confused too. So we're adopting, what we're looking to adopt an ordinance empowering the council to impose regulations in further date.
By resolution.
Yeah.
For people on private wells.
So this is private wells, not public, so it's not the water company per se.
Correct.
And basically, we're really sort of revising a resolution, right? So we're adding in that paragraph and deleting the rest of it.
The ordinance that is on the books currently, we'll call it archaic and antiquated. It's what we used the last time. We were trying to say it appropriate. So the ordinance that's currently on the books stems from when the water company was privately held.
Right.
So what has happened, because this ordinance is still on the books, we are obligated to comply with the ordinance. When I came on board, I talked to John specifically about this ordinance and he said, I didn't even realize it was still on the books. So we need to remove the ordinance, and that's what we're deleting. The Board of Water Commissioners are adopting water regulations as it relates to conservation for those people on the public water system,
Got it.
which they can do, which the water commissioners can do.
Just to make sure though, 19-501 is being edited, right? And apparently 2 or 3 sentences are being added and 50 sentences are being deleted.
Correct.
So we're revising an ordinance in this case to dramatically change it, and update it versus deleting an ordinance. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
So I'm asking this question as someone who, so, look, I don't think anybody opposes this, but so we can have a public hearing on the proposed amendment and then act?
Yes.
Okay, I thought we had a period of time when we could. have the public hearing. Gotcha. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Any more comment? Any more comments from the public? I'll entertain a motion. No, I'll make a motion to close there. Second, Stan, all those in favor, Margaret?
Aye.
Keith? Any in favor, Stan?
Yep.
Motion carries.
Yeah.
So Millie and I just had a little sidebar. As we looked at the agenda, here's just the public hearing.
It's,
Bingo.
There's no.
That's this.
yeah, there's no, right.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. But that's just, that's called a mispost, another misposting on this agenda. So this is number 3.
Number 3, just says public hearing. So we'll put it on the agenda for Wednesday night.
Okay, great.
We're discussing act on setting a hearing date regarding potential motorized bicycle, tricycle, and scooter license suspension of the license of Finmore Fisher Incorporated doing business as Island Moped for violation of New Shore General Ordinance Section 8-82 tags. We're here to discuss this evening just setting a date. We're not here to discuss any alleged violations or anything of that form. Millie, do you have some dates on that, like 28th, 29th, or 30th?
Right, those are the dates that,
I would suggest waiting until July since we're in transition with the friends. The first week of July. or something like
This
that.
meeting's gonna go by. This meeting's gonna go by quick.
It's just my
no,
suggestion.
waiting till July to set this,
Waiting
For the
till
hearing
July 2nd.
no, to set the hearing date in July, right?
Seven.
You can, they can
Seven.
set it now, right?
Right.
Yeah, you can set it now.
Council good with waiting till July?
If that's the case, we just have one special request. We have it after the 13th. Like, first circuit brief. Much more available.
Look at the calendar.
Yes.
I think we need a much.
Okay, sorry. It's just about Zoom.
Which
The
is,
other one was
The 20th, there's the 5th, and then the 20th.
Boards of
Regular meetings.
we'll do it on the 20th. If you want to wait until after July 13th, the first meeting is on the 20th, unless you want to hold a special meeting.
We have to request repeated, just.
Just do not.
Everything-
Just council for Finnemore and Fisher Mark Hoboken. I had sent a letter to Miller requesting either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, so that we have the ability to exercise our health rights if necessary, hopefully not. But since this is going to be a July hearing, I'm just making a special request in addition to that. That'd be after the 13th, because I'll get that first circuit.
What was it, the other date? The 20th? Will the 20th work for you? It's a Wednesday.
Make sure. That's fine.
So why don't we go back and, because that was 3 weeks, so why don't we go back to the original dates, the end of June? What do we have for June? Because that whole week is wide open.
Yeah, June 27, 28, 29, or 30.
You want to go back to the end of year? Okay.
Are those Mr. Europeans, days of the week?
Yes.
You want to do the 29th, that
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Your 29th is better with me than the 28th.
You said three. Do you want to discuss that and then?
I can't do any meetings anymore before 5. But it's gonna be like that for the summer.
Yeah.
Fly off after. Yeah.
You can make arrangements on flying helicopter.
Oh,
Get another silent tour.
Oh, it's not a lifeline, right?
What's that? No, I wouldn't never do that.
So is there a time determined? Did you determine a time?
7
7, thank you.
on the 20th.
Okay, 29th?
29.
20th. I will make a motion to set a hearing date regarding the potential motorized bicycle, tricycle, and scooter license suspension of the license of Finnemore Fisher Incorporated doing business as an moped for alleged violation of New Shore General Ordinance, sections 8-82 tags for Wednesday, June 29th at 7 p.m.
Second.
Second by Stan, all those in favor? Keith?
Yes.
Martha? I'm in favor, Stan?
Right.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Just one other request, if I could, and then just one question. As I understand, I spoke to Kathy Marola today, and there is a report from the chief of police. We'd like a copy of that in advance of the.
It's on
hearing.
clerk base.
Sir?
It should be on clerk base.
Should we have
Okay.
this?
It is.
Let me double check
Thank
that
you.
right now.
You should be able to download it.
Okay,
And you can, my side, you want my copy?
If David Lewis can find it, you can find it.
I'm old, but not
My
If you have any
He didn't mean that
problems,
about your age.
Call David.
He mentioned.
hear a thing.
I think we're pretty close.
We see that up here right now. Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah.
It is. on.
Okay, and then the other was more of a question, given the fact that Chief Moynihan is departing, will he be available for that hearing?
He can probably just participate remotely.
Remotely, that's fine.
Yes. Yes.
So I was just texting
Great.
him.
Thank you, the honor of the. Don't forget.
Can I get that copy? Hey. Take your cup first.
No, I think that's.
We love the.
Number 5, act on resolution in support of LGBTQ plus Pride Month. I'd like to throw this on there. I can't get it. My hotmail's not working. Like I said, but keep reloading some more.
Go ahead, Bob.
It's
is this
a,
basically what we lost?
it is just smaller. Okay,
That's
resolution.
okay.
Where is it?
I'll read it if you want.
Just thought it'd be nice to,
New Shore Town Council Resolution, June 6, 2022, R10, 2022. Whereas the town of New Shore welcomes and encourages diversity and inclusion within our community. And whereas June 28, 2022 marks the 53rd anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising in New York City, which sparked the gay rights movement and is the nationwide month to recognize lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, and plus LGBTQ plus community. And whereas celebrating Pride Month raises awareness and provide support and advocacy for the LGBTQ community plus community, and is an opportunity to become educated, engage in dialogue, strengthen alliances, and build understanding. And whereas while there has been remarkable progress towards acceptance and equality, members of the LGBTQ plus community continue to face discrimination, intolerance, and hate. And whereas we must commit to supporting and accepting LGBTQ plus individuals, in particular our youth, who compared to their peers are far more likely to experience violence and bullying at school, to suffer from depression, to struggle with substance use, and to have attempted suicide. And whereas we must remain vigilant in deterring oppression and discrimination against people on the basis of sex, gender identity or expression, or sexual orientation. And whereas by protecting the rights of every individual, we enhance and strengthen the value of everyone throughout our entire society. And whereas the town of New Shore has a diverse LGBTQ plus community that includes people of all ethnicities, religions, and professions. And whereas we affirm our support for LGBTQ plus residents in our community and stand with them to protect their civil rights and their ability to live openly, equally, and without fear. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of New Shore on this 6th day of June 2021, that the council recognizes and supports the month of June 2021 as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer questioning, and plus LGBTQ plus Pride Month. And we urge all residents to celebrate and build a culture of inclusiveness and acceptance during this month and every month. Further, if be resolved, we decree that this resolution be made part of the permanent record of the town.
I'm just making a note that we change that to the 6th day of June 2022.
I'm sorry.
And plus the month of June 2022.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paul.
And I think historically it's Stonewall riots. I just looked at it.
You want to make that edit? What is it, you want a second and then edit?
however procedurally you want to do that.
Why don't you second it, or we can edit it, I can theoretically read it.
We'll just do with those changes with the.
I think that's
So
fine.
it's June 28th.
That's fine.
So you got it?
I think that's fine. Stonewall
So
Stonewall riots, and then the date.
Is there a motion? Is there?
Yes, there is.
I mean, and instead of Stonewall uprising, it's Stonewall riots.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
So motion was made.
Second.
Motion was seconded.
With change. Discussion. All those in favor, Keith? Yes. Michael? I'm in favor, Sven? Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Millie, can you post to the website? You post to the website? Thank you. Item number 5 is act on the appointment of the interim police chief. Mary Ann?
So I'm trying to see, Millie, do we have?
Mary,
Wait a minute. Oh,
We have-
I did receive a communication which I forwarded to the council late last night from Colonel Donald Weaver, that he has come up with the gentleman who served as interim police chief for the town of New Shawn as we go through the search, and the council moves forward and appoints a new police chief. It's Captain Peter Chabot. Shabbat is how you pronounce his name. He's a 24-year veteran for the Rhode Island State Police. He serves as the Assistant Detective Commander. He's responsible for managing the Division of Major Crimes Unit, a Financial Crimes Unit, Special Victims Unit, Intelligence Unit, Auto Theft Unit, Adult Correctional Institution Investigative Unit, Department of Motor Vehicle Investigative Unit, Property Unit, Rhode Island Sex Offender Registration Notification Unit, Forensic Service Unit, and the Fusion Center. He will he'll transition with Matt, I think, for 1 week, and then he will be on as the interim chief until a new chief is hired. Millie did send a invitation to Colonel Weaver to join us this evening, but it appears on his schedule to not allow him to join us this evening to present the captain.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Go ahead, Sven.
Is there an end date to his appointment, or is it until a chief is appointed?
It is until the chief is appointed.
And we're looking at, or on August 1st for that.
I'm hoping to have a candidate to the council by the end of July, early August at the least.
I'll make a motion to appoint as interim police chief, Rhode Island State Police Captain Peter Shabbat.
Second.
Second by Sven. Any discussion?
I just have a question about paying for this.
I didn't receive anything from the Colonel in that regard. I thought I would, he did not come forward with anything. I sent him an email and asked him if there was anything, and I still haven't heard. So at this point, I'm gonna go on the assumption that it's not, that we do not have to.
I just would love to just reach out and thank Colonel Weaver. Obviously, there's been a whole lot of change in the last month or whatever, and I appreciate all the Rhode Island State Police and all the work they've done to help the island, and will be doing all summer. And I appreciate the Colonel's support. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, Sven? Aye. Martha? Aye. I'm in favor. Keith?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Bill McClellan?
Will there be an update as far as what the procedure will be for, on the advertising and so forth for the new chief?
Yeah, we got that last time. That's the last thing.
Yeah, I'm following the same procedure I did the last time when we were very successful in hiring Chief Monahan. If you'd like me to go through, I'll be happy to.
Yeah, yeah. Talk to you about the
So, the advertisement has already been put out. It's been put out to the Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns. It's on the town's website. It has been posted and sent out, on the listserv for the Rhode Island Chief Police Association, and also will be posted on the New England Police Chief's, website. I anticipate having a search committee, which consists of, 4 people, including myself, 2 town employees, myself, police chief from another community, and a town manager from another community. That search will be involved with reviewing resumes, selecting resumes, and participating in the interviews and ranking and coming up with a recommendation that we bring to the town council. Same format that I used the last time, and I found it to be very successful.
And there's 5 members of that committee, right?
That's
4 plus you.
correct.
I think that sounds great. One question, I've had 3 or 4 people inquire, which is nice to have contact me, so they may have interest. So one question would be, is there going to be housing, or is housing something that will be able to be negotiated?
The advertisement does say that housing is available, and it'll be part of the negotiations.
Thank you.
I've actually seen some phone calls too. I think we'll, I thought I've received some phone calls too. I think we'll have
So I think you'll,
a good pool.
I think it's good that the town manager has worked on the housing aspect of it, because I think that opens up the pool to much more candidates, so. And between the chief worked on those specifications, areas, I think that's gonna be very fruitful.
Right, yeah, that was a partnership. I know Matt did a lot of work on his own there, so to make it work. So we do have housing for the chief.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
David Lewis, this question is maybe quite premature, but it's worth asking at this point. With respect to the Chief Director of DPW, is that a decision that's going to be made in the relative near future? Is that something we're going to put on the table for some small limited period of time? If you don't want to answer that now, I can open that too.
With all this going on, I was hoping to get an update on the next meeting on the DPW situation.
I'm noodling that in my mind as to how we're going to proceed with that.
Okay, thank you.
So this job is advertised, it's not DPW, it is solely the chief of police, is that correct?
Solely chief of police.
Thank you.
And anybody can see that advertisement by going on the League of Cities or on our website, right?
Does Captain Shabbat know that he's got a current position on the Deer Task Force too?
First one, I wanted to get in here first.
We don't want to get one noise surprises. Thank you.
Thought Matt was
Yeah,
You could come to that once in a while, you're on the top.
Matt can stay.
Now you'll have all my secrets out before I got them under control.
You sweeten the
I
deal
didn't
with
see
the
that in the
appointment.
resignation.
Neither did I.
Sweeten the deal with the chief with that. Addition. Motion's made and carried. All those were in favor, 4-0. Nothing else to discuss on the topic. Next item on the agenda is to discuss an act on a request from Chris Walker to waive the fees associated with his application to amend the zoning ordinance adding section 19. I'm just going to make a motion to waive the fees associated with Chris Walker's application to amend the zoning ordinance adding sections 519. Second, any discussion? All those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
Welcome.
I,
I'm in favor, Sven? Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Number 7, discuss an act on a contract with Peregrine to collect landing fees at the boat basin. If anybody doesn't know, Peregrine is the tenant in the boat basin that's running the docks. Great, I'll give that to you.
so, Councilman Wisdom and I met with the folks at Interstate, and one of the things that we discussed was the fact that we have other, like such as campgrounds, the boat basin, that would just have the box. And so what I did was, I did approach Peregrine group regarding the possibility of entering a similar contract that we do at Convention State with them collecting the fees. And that's what is before you this evening. They have agreed to do that. And they plan to start it as soon as the council approves the agreement as presented.
I don't think, it came after the packet was filled, yeah, so.
Just summarize it.
It's very similar to the one that Interstate has. They collect the fees, they keep a 15% commission. Like Interstate, it's the same law. They asked that they turn the money over at the end of the summer instead of trying to do it during the summer. I said, that's fine. So it's a pretty straightforward. The agreement was drawn up by a council president.
We're getting rid of that little collection box at the end that had trash in it.
I would like to, yes.
Yeah, me too.
How do you want, I don't have a contract in front of me.
Start first.
I didn't have a contract in my packet, I think we did. You know, we don't see you on the back.
I'm retired, you know. I'm a backbencher now.
You want to go vision.
He's the council's portal to protests.
Millie puts it there, I almost all the time, no, it's.
I usually download everything.
I can have a vacancy in the office. I have a vacancy in the office, David.
Make a motion to accept the contract with Peregrine to collect remaining fees at the boat basin.
Second.
Second by Martha, all those, any discussion? All those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
Martha?
I,
I'm in favor, Sven? Motion carries.
Can you help me with those statuses for chaplains? Because I think they were approached at the same time.
I have presented them with the draft agreement, and they, Elizabeth has turned that over to her legal department, and I haven't heard that. It's been about a week or so.
So the assumption will be that they're going to say.
I'm hoping so. Originally, I asked her about it. She floated the idea up to the legal department. They said, send us over an agreement, and I did. So.
Thank you.
I think that's great that avenue has been looked at. Are we also going to be collecting in Old Harbor Dock and in the Lawrence?
We already collected the morals.
Well, I don't think that's accurate. I think they collect they do a roundup thing, but it's the taxes and roundup is per head.
We did that for the
I think, wasn't that?
We discussed that.
wasn't there an estimated amount included in the warrant? This was back a long time.
I know working on Harbor several years ago, we did collect it. Personally, the first one was more expensive than suing this. Now, what I don't recall doing is collecting multiple landing fees based on how many people. It basically goes with the boat there because it would be, you know, when you're driving around collecting, making everybody appear on deck is a little challenging.
I thought Kate mentioned that there was an estimated, like an average number. I'm gonna pick 2.5 for argument's sake, but some number on an average vote, is that correct? Or-
I don't remember that, but don't take my word for it. It was done by the computer, and I know that the first warning was more expensive than the others because of the landing fee.
Yeah, that's my recollection when went in way back.
What she does is exactly that. It's usually about 2 folks on a boat. And if she does go out there, she sees more than they charge her. That's what they do.
Yeah, my point is it's a tax and it should be asked how many people are on the boat. And that number should be whatever, if it's 3, 2, 1, or whatever it might be, whatever, you know, they say what they have. But a tax, you can't just round up to what an average is. The tax is, the way it's written per person on there. And I'm not saying go search the boat, but I think if you ask someone if they have, and whatever they tell you, that's what they should be charged for that end of it. And then also I would ask if, same thing with Old Harbor, if we're collecting at the dock down there also.
Thank you, Ben. We get it on that at some point. I believe the efforts there.
Yeah.
Number 8, discussion act on the amendments to the rules of procedure of the town council. I think the last meeting we discussed that this was going to take at least 2 meetings. At the last meeting, we decided they needed a lot more work, I think, and that we were going to put it on a work session. Is that my recollection correct?
And the next work session is August, the beginning of August.
Is August fine with the council on that? Lou, you want to see a change in?
No, but I just FYI, I did send to Millie today, draft of language on.
And we'll just be presenting with that with all the input from the council.
Yeah, well, I'll be collecting input from adding it into a document, and then I will follow what you requested as well regarding the charter.
Thank you. So we won't be discussing this tonight.
I think that this was posted prior to,
The
last meeting. We had it there as a placeholder, yes.
I certainly appreciate you working to get that to the staff as well. Number 9, receive an update on the topics. A couple hands up. Sorry. Kim?
Will you take a comment on that? Because
Sure.
it's not on discussion.
And you can certainly send comments on the document until August. You can certainly comment this
Fresh in
evening.
my mind now, and
Yeah.
it's a technicality.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Items 13 and 14, these are like rules for the town council, but it references planning board, zoning board, conservation. It seems like that same rule will go into the rules of procedure for boards and commissions, and not be listed in the rules for the town council. Maybe a technicality, or there may be a reason that I'm not aware of.
Right.
It's just a comment.
No, it's cool.
I sent it out to Millie this afternoon. All of the, for this August discussion, all of the charter-driven changes will be redlined, and all the suggestions will be outlined. So that document you have before you, I was under the impression that was just charter-driven changes at our last meeting, and I apologize for that. But there's been some other input from staff on the changes on those. So Millie's going to send us all on a document with redline and outline what's necessary, what's been recommended or suggested, and then our input is forthcoming, I would imagine, at this point. So I certainly appreciate that.
Concerned, it's just highlighted.
Yeah,
Good.
it should be across the board.
Well, I think the question is, are the rules of procedure for boards and committees being amended as well? Is that,
Basically.
that was my first thought.
And right, that's not in front of you
That
now,
is not yet.
but it needs to be.
So sort of the next step.
Correct.
I had mentioned to a couple council people, I was just wondering a suggestion that if possibly, anyone who is on the Zoom, like calls in on the Zoom, if they could be identified at the beginning of the meeting so we know, because they're obviously invitees from the council to be in active Zoom, if they could be identified at the beginning of the meeting.
We're not doing Zoom except for consultants on.
That's what I'm referring to. So if there's consultants or whoever is on the Zoom, that they would be identified so that you would know who is also participating on behalf of requests of the council. Like right now, we don't know whether it's the town attorney, or it might be it's
Any more input, comments? Thank you. Number 9, receive update on Thomas Coffey construction.
So the town has entered a contract with Connecticut Valley Homes, who built, obviously, the town manager's house, to develop a set of plans for 2 multifamily dwelling units on the Thomas property. A site plan and design for the 2 structures will both be produced now, but the structures will be built in 2 phases. Phase 1 will be the actual house on the Thomas property. Not the manager's house, the small ranch house,
The existing
the
structure.
existing structure, and the other would be for the garage. What we found out was the cost associated with escalating prices, we do not have enough funds to do what we want to do. So we're doing it in two phases. Phase one will be the home, the existing home, which will have 2 units, about 1,200 square feet both. They both will be 2-bedroom units. They will comply with those zoning. We need to go to the planning board. That application is currently in the process of collecting the data. It appears we'll have all the documentation we need for June 25th, I think is the deadline, for the next planning board meeting. And hopefully, we anticipate that structure being finalized and constructed in the spring, mid to late spring of 2023. Hopefully, we'll be able to go to the financial town meeting next year and ask for funding for the second, what we're calling the second phase of this phase. And it will be done the same thing. The good news is all the design work will be done, all the planning approvals will be in place. So all at that point, we'll need to do is construction. So it'll go much quicker than spring of 23. It'll probably be, it's still probably looking at winter 24 before that. So,
Comments from the council?
Sorry, so let me just make sure, you mentioned in this phase, there are going to be 2 constructions, if I use that word. One is the Thomas home, which is 2 units,
mhm.
and then the garage as
Then the
well
garage.
in this phase, so that is one.
The garage is the second phase.
Whereas the second phase, so all that is, what is being done now will be the home that is currently standing will be renovated, rebuilt to 2 units,
Correct.
period.
2 units, 2 bedroom. The garage will be 2 units, one bedroom and 1 2-bedroom.
And have you received budgets for that or cost estimates for that? Is that?
We have square footage costs that we received from Connecticut Valley. And that's why we need to do it in 2 phases.
And as a next step, how is that gonna proceed? In other words,
Next step, we have to go to the planning board. When the planning board approved the original Thomas house that I'm currently living in, they had a qualification in the decision that would come back with plans for what we plan to do for the next phase.
then after that planning board approval, does it come back to the council or is it then moving forward? It's a question of procedure.
We can move forward.
How many units are we approved for there?
5 also.
5. So why are we not doing with planning? So we have town manager, garage. Is garage having 2 units? in it?
Garage is having 2.
Oh, okay, that's where,
Yeah.
that's where I
Yes,
misunderstood.
the house has 2, the house will have 2 2-bedrooms. Garage will have 1 2-bedroom and 1 1-bedroom.
So is the Thomas house gonna be renovated and done over, or is it gonna be knocked down and a module put in?
If I say combination of both, does that make sense? Because there's some of it that we will be saving that we'll be able to use, and then some of it will be part of a modular. The bulk of it will be a modular home. There's some,
Connecticut Valley is like super close to Buckingham.
correct.
Mary, is there a reason to know, I mean, this is gonna get asked. So money was appropriated, we didn't, construction didn't start. Now we want us, you get going with that, it's more money, we gotta go ask to tax, the taxpayers for more money. The reason, it just, was it COVID, was it,
It's, the cost is escalated,
I know,
and a lot had to do with COVID. We're seeing that everywhere. Look at the gas prices, look at everything.
but, yeah, I understand. So the money was approved,
We approved $1.5 million, and we spent close to 800, just slightly under 800 for the house I'm in. And I think, to think you were going to do another home that was going to have four units for that same amount of money, I think, and I can't speak for this for sure. I think when the folks originally went to the voters, I think it was anticipated that there may be additional costs. For what would need to cost to get the second Thomas property.
right, and I also, I mean, I think it's important because I know, you know, your others $1.5 million, but I think it's important for the public to know that 800,000 is already spent, and 700,000 left. So we don't have $1.5 million, so something like that. So there's 700,000. We're looking to build
4 units.
4 more units. So it's completely reasonable to think that we can build 4 units on North Island for $700,000. That's all I want to get on that. Comments, anyone on topic? David?
So just a question, can you remind me and the rest of the public who the intended occupants of those houses now? And I assume there's some priority that puts the police at the top.
If everyone remembers, we have a memorandum of agreement that was signed a few years back. And it does put the police department, the police officers on top. Then it's town employees, and when you talk town employees, we talk town, sewer, water, school employees, and then the general.
So I don't think any of that is bad news. And I'd like to see the town employees in number 2. Just, I know it goes without saying that one of the goals for everybody, right, and the council and the staff's office is that they have stability in the house, which means people in priority 1, but needing to put more people in priority 1 is not going to force somebody in priority 2 on their house. I don't know how you deal with that. I'm not proposing to deal with it tonight. It just sort of runs through my mind, it's a difficult circumstance to manage over time.
This process, this hierarchy, if you will, has been in place for how many years for that house?
2013.
It might be 11 or 13.
I don't deny that. We are entered a new world, and we've been in a new world for several years, and these properties weren't even available. So it's almost like it's a new problem.
No, I'm talking about since we took over the Thomas property, that particular change has been in place.
I understand that, but that chain hasn't, you haven't had the full capacity, you haven't had the new capacity we're about to get out of that property, to my knowledge. You've never had anybody in the garage, you've had the availability of 2 units. Now you're gonna have the availability that, assuming we have a long-term town manager, that we have 4 apartments that are available, and we'd like people in those to be stable to the best of our abilities to manage. It's just something to consider when you have nothing else to think about. But you don't want the need for newly hired police in year 7 from today to push out a newly hired town employee who's been there for 2 years in that house.
That's
a dilemma.
I had assumed that the underlying deal was if you're in, the town isn't going to be put in a position of evicting people in order to fulfill the housing needs of someone else.
That sounds like something we need to policy on.
It's a good, that's an important question.
I think the agreement outlines some of this stuff that is coming up. I don't have the agreement with me right now, but I think it outlines.
When we next get a Thomas update, can we see the agreement?
Oh, absolutely.
Just as one of the attachments.
Yeah.
just to refresh us.
How often does that come up? Does that come up for renewal every so many years?
No, it's in place. What I have to do, what the town has to do is we have to notify the AG how the house is being used each year. And I've sent 2 letters now to Attorney General's office and manager.
That has come up since I've been back on the council. No.
This is a separate, yeah, this is.
It was before the litigation, that's what was so freaking annoying, because, I had made a point of trying to find out how it all worked, and I found out that nobody else knew. And Bob took a million ads, one person didn't know.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Good. Hold on, Alicia, who's letting you know?
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I just have a quick question. The hierarchy of who gets the apartments. Are we year round, or are we putting summer, which I would hope, I know that we need our reserve officers, but I would hope that those apartments stay to year round employees of the town.
It's dated, many points to that, but we can also get an update on that.
Yeah, I'd rather see the, yeah, I'd rather see the agreement for this than yours.
No, I just meant like, I know how we have the summer,
Yeah.
you know, costs coming in, and I understand that they need housing too, but I would hope to see that those numbers
Sure.
go to year round.
Yeah.
We agree.
No,
So there's 700,000 and some odd dollars left, correct, after the first house, the town manager's house. Is that enough money to complete the first phase of the Thomas house?
We've been told yes.
Okay, because I think what happens, so to go to the second phase, we go to garage, which is the garage, with the garage, which would go to the voters. In the event that doesn't pass, or whatever it might be, there's enough money, we would currently to finish the first phase, that'll be done from that end. And if that's the case, I would certainly hope the second phase, that you come to the voters with a proposal of what it is, not a blank check and go design something. Because I think we wouldn't be where we are right now, there would be an expectation of what it is at that point.
What I think you heard from the town manager is that this first phase is going to include the second phase design. And so that will have everything quote unquote on paper, so that hopefully we have quote unquote drawings and specs. I don't know about the cost necessarily that,
Everything should be
but all those details, so we should be able to see it, yes.
And planning board approval for both projects.
But my point being is, if there is not, you don't want to run out of money on this phase because we spent it to the second phase also. So I just hope the numbers are crunched well, that this first phase can be totally completed, with the funds that we have, even if it's at the expense of designing the second phase to it, so that you have a completed project that we waited several years for on that, and you don't have to go to the voters to complete whatever it is in that first phase, which from the building. Thank you.
Good.
thank you, Bill. Any other comments on the topic? Hearing none. Receive and act on the 2019-2020 game license applications. Do you want to give a little more info on that?
Yeah, I need to re-agenda it because of the dates. You'll notice that there's been a couple of anomalies with this agenda. Doing my best with a little bit of time.
When is that? Is it the 15th of June?
The 15th of June.
Good.
Yes, June 15th, so next week. Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be put on the next agenda. Item number 11.
I'm sorry. Is it worth to make sure that all of the game license holders or applicants are aware of that meeting, so that as any discussion comes up, they are here, should there be any discussion around certain situations? So if we can please make sure that here, or at least they have the chance to be here, that would be very helpful. And we can all do some reading about what is a game. Yeah. If you remember the last time, what is a game and what is a ride?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Item number 11, just to update on the legislative agenda. Very.
Oh. So on Thursday, two of our bills, one of our bills will be heard with the revaluation. It is scheduled for consideration in the House. It's already, and it's been. Okay, it's scheduled on Thursday to be considered moving both the Senate and House bills for the one, so both will be scheduled, both the Senate and House bill is scheduled to be heard on Thursday for the revaluation. Don't have anything on the tier tax. When that's slated, doesn't appear to be this week.
How about housing?
I May 4th did not give me anything on housing for this week.
Is anybody going to the presentation to speak, or just make one?
May 4th is just doing that, I've been in contact with them. And I know he was, May 4th has been with the speaker to go over a lot of those that are still outstanding. He did speak to the speaker about the the housing and the tier tax.
Questions, council? Comments? Item 12, discuss an act on board commissions and committees and announce vacancies. We have a place on the Deer Task Force for 2 folks and motor vehicles for hire 2 folks, and those 2 folks cannot be taxi motor vehicles for hire license holders. The announcement. Item number 13, approved minutes made.
Question, I'm sorry, on the Deer Task Force, is that 2 current or is it going to become 3 at the end of the month? Or is that, can a person that doesn't reside here stay on the Deer Task Force building? That's a question about the committee.
No, they cannot.
Oh, it's not.
No,
I believe
absolutely.
they can.
No, absolutely not. When we hire a full-time police chief,
Hey, good luck. Eric.
when we hire a full-time police chief, we'll, that gentleman or gentlewoman will have, we'll have a seat on that, but, probably have 2, but that's why it's advertised as 2, because the 3rd one is the police chief.
You should tell.
Deer Task Force.
Like,
Not one of those will hire. Well, that might help though.
Just, I don't sound like.
What are we doing with the damn deer?
Item number 13.
A little quieter.
Doesn't like, isn't everybody fed up with this?
I had.
1978, I've been going to meetings about the deer since 1978.
If you have any report
If the state was in charge and the state, oh, no, stop it, Keith. If the state is supposed to know better, and the one time this town asks for something, the state doesn't say, oh, we can't do it, we can't afford it, we can't do blah, blah, blah. They actually give us something, one thing we shouldn't have, and they should know better, and they should come take it away. Neither was I.
Item number 13 is approved minutes of
What's
May
true?
18th, 2022, open and closed.
I make a motion to approve the minutes. Open and close on the 18th. Second.
All those in favor? Keith?
Yes.
Martha? I'm in favor, Stan?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Any double motion or something? Never mind. Anybody else have any?
Yeah.
Item number 14, receive, discuss, and act on the update regarding negotiations with International Brotherhood of Police Officers, Local 720, representing members of the New Shore Police Department, and Town of New Shore, the matter may be discussed in closed session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 246-582, sessions pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation, or work sessions pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation. I assume we're going to go into closed session on this item.
That is correct.
Is not anything we can say before.
No, no.
Is there anything we can announce after? We certainly will do that. I'll make a motion to go to closed session. Second.
Can I interrupt before we finalize the going to closed session?
Yes.
So, I thought you'd be here tonight, via phone, but we switched the agenda and then the moped license, conversation doesn't take place. But, I would like to thank Catherine Rowell, on behalf of the whole town for her 15 years of service as council solicitor for the town of New Strong. I worked closely with her for the last 18 months. The 15th, which is our next council meeting, she is on vacation out of town. And she did text me that the hearing that we'll have regarding the mopeds the last week of June, she said it'd probably be best that the new solicitor sit in on that particular hearing, since it'll be right before tomorrow. So I would like to thank her on behalf of the town for the service she's provided to.
She's not with us until the end of the fiscal year, or we won't be seeing her at any meetings until, I don't.
The next meeting, she's on vacation.
She's on vacation the next meeting. So tonight was going to be officially the last meeting.
I remember that very well. We will, of course, we like to thank her for her service.
Okay, so is there a letter or Yeah, just all signed or draft, and that, she's been solicitor long and done a lot of work for the island and stuff, okay? I can screw something up, we can talk about that, meeting if you want, or however you want to do it. I just think a nice note, say thank you. I can do that if you want, I'm sure you do it either way, it doesn't matter, I just think a nice note, and if we need to have that on the agenda, at the next meeting, or can we just do it?
Make a motion to go into closed session.
Excuse me, are you not going to move that to the item?
We're not gonna move the other item. We're gonna, what we discussed earlier, we're gonna put it on our next agenda.
Thank you.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
Martha? Aye. I'm in favor, and second. Motion carries 4-0. If I do have anything to announce, or we have anything to announce at the end, please remove yourself. Thank you for coming to our, thank you for coming to our Monday, June 6th meeting. Appreciate that.
You cannot go around your phone for like months before you bring it back.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Makes sense, cool, that too, so we have motion about position. We're back to open, and then it tells us.
Here, open.
Thank you for everybody.
I just bought some.
Whoa.
Just bought some at home.
Thank you, everybody, for
Milk.
bearing with us in our closed session. There's nothing to announce, no votes were taken, and I'll make a motion to seal the minutes. Second last time, all those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
Martha?
Aye.
Happy birthday, by the way, Martha.
Thank
Before we leave the building. I'm in favor, Sven?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0, seal the minutes, make a motion to adjourn. Second by Sven, all those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
Martha? I'm in favor. Sven in favor, motion carries 4-0. Next regular meeting is June 15th, hope to see you all there.